Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Brothers Hunt. That's it, 2019's over.
Oh.
I'm now bored, there's no races on. Next Formula E race is next decade.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Mid-January.
So, instead of just sitting here missing races, I think it's time that we talk about them. We're going to go through our top 5 races of the years in all categories. Now, obviously, one of us is slightly more into motorsport than the other, so we're hopefully going to see quite a few different categories coming up in our top 5 lists. I think we'll start off with yours, your number 5.
My number 5 is the Brazilian Grand Prix.
Oh, okay.
Because...
Yeah, okay, I can see where you're going from this.
The last 15 laps, arguably better than Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And most other races of the year.
Mm-hmm.
The first 60 laps, not so much. There's a little bit of lap fight with Hamilton and Verstappen, which was quite fun to watch. That was about it.
There's Kubitz from the pits. Almost taking Verstappen.
He's had a quality year, hasn't he?
Brilliant, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still linked with more teams than Nico Hülkenberg is. However, I feel like it was knowing that it culminated in something. It's almost like tension building for those 60 laps. It's still better than France.
Oh, yes, everything was better than France.
Yeah, true. France was a significant low point.
Yes, I think that should be our unworthy mention.
Unworthy mention. Worst race of the year. Yeah, worst race we've watched all year is definitely the France Grand Prix. So, my number 5 choice is the Formula E race at Mexico. Formula E, normally quite good action between races, but that ending was phenomenal.
It was.
It's the sort of thing, once you've seen it, you watch it again and again and again, and I don't think we're going to see anything quite like it again.
Oh, I feel like we could.
We could do, but
with Formula E being quite so restrictive, you might get more.
Yeah, but it's the thing as well. It's everyone, when Formula E was starting, everyone was saying, "Oh, imagine if they run out of energy on the last lap. Imagine that."
And Pascal Wehrlein did.
Yes. Yeah. I wonder how he feels about that.
Well, he lost the race and then he got a penalty, so he's probably not the biggest fan of it.
Not happy at all. No. Oh, okay. What about your number 4?
My number 4 is the race to at Detroit in Indycar.
Aha! That was a race. What happened?
Yes, it was a race. It was. This was the race after everyone saw the Marco Andretti on slick tyres YouTube clip where he went round, almost spinning about 5 times. So it was a dry race though, the day after. Mixed up grid, being second race in 2 days, and it was a big battle between Joseph Newgarden, James Hinchcliffe, and Alexander Rossi.
Alexander Rossi.
Yeah. It all came down to this. I believe one of the pit stops. Newgarden and Rossi had pitted earlier, had an extra lap on the tyre, so they were warmed up. No tyre warmers in IndyCar. So coming out of the pits, pit edge exit is the exit of turn 2 at Detroit. So Hinchcliffe coming out of the pits comes out first. Then you've got Newgarden. Then you've got Rossi coming into
Alexander Rossi.
Oh, nice. Coming into the 90 right-hander, and Rossi and Newgarden crash into each other, taking out Hinchcliffe.
Oh, God.
And then Scott Dixon went on and won, having passed most of the field.
Did they point fingers? Who did they blame for it?
Well, all of them.
Or did they all just go there?
Hinchcliffe was the innocent party.
Okay.
Yes. But yes, it was a great race to watch. Never knew who was going to win till quite near to the end.
Yeah, good drama by the sounds of it.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, cool. Right,
What's yours?
My number 4 is the W Series finale at Brands Hatch. Now, obviously, the first season of W Series has been quite interesting. A few hiccups we need to work on. However, there was quite a bit of tension for this last race.
Yes, there was tension.
Obviously, I wanted Jamie Chadwick to win, historically. Reference. So I wanted Jamie Chadwick to win, obviously, and for some reason she wasn't on form. She just really wasn't there in that race. And afterwards she went, "That's one of the worst races I've done," but it was quite tense. I remember there's specifically one overtaking manoeuvre up at Druids. It was a great race, mainly because I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. I was going, "No, don't throw it away," and then throw it away. Right, what about your number 3, podium positions?
It is Formula 1 again.
Okay.
Back to the F1. It's the German Grand Prix.
Ah, good. Yeah,
it's maybe a bit lower than people are expecting. But there is always the element that it was because it was raining.
Yes.
It was a very good race, very entertaining, lots of crashes, lots of spins. I quite liked Verstappen's 360 going on to win. That was quite good.
Yes.
But it was because of rain.
Yes, it's all the results that are there are ones of luck. Like
Kubica!
Daniel Kvyat's podium was, of course, something which was massive and brilliant, but Pierre Gasly's was so much better because it was in the dry.
Alexander Albon was robbed in Germany.
Oh, God. Yeah. Actually, he was robbed in Brazil as well.
Yes, he was twice. And ended up with the Toro Rosso getting a podium.
Yeah,
but yes, it was
that was good. It was almost a bit too chaotic. Like, because there's so much mad stuff happening, it kind of devalued how madness the mad stuff was.
Yeah.
Although, interestingly, even though Lewis Hamilton was, like, probably the worst race of the season. Still 7th, 8th,
9th in the end.
9th. So
But
still
it
in
was
the points.
the world's worst pit stop.
Oh yes, yeah, and
Almost a minute.
and they're all dressed up, and Toto Wolff was just
30.
incredibly embarrassed, wasn't he?
Quite funny.
Yes, no,
A wake-up call they needed.
it was funny to see because it's Mercedes and they kind of just do everything right.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Right, my number 3 was the finale of the BTCC at Brands Hatch again.
All right, we're going to keep talking about this because that's my number 2.
Oh, nice. So
Yes.
my number 3 and his number 2.
Next, round 30.
Yes, round 30. Yes.
Dan Camish.
I don't know what it was. I was never certain he was going to get it, even though with like 7 laps to go, he's looking completely fine.
there
was
felt-
always a little bit of worry in the background.
I never. The only worry was the brakes glowing brighter than the sun on
Yeah.
lap 2. It was just. You had 3 title contenders. You got Jordan, who's in third up the front. Then you've got Camish. Then you've got Turkington coming up the back, having been nerfed off by Matt Neal, Camish's teammate.
Yeah.
Coincidence?
Helping out there.
Yeah, unfortunate. But yes, it all just built up, especially when Turkington was able to pass Camish.
Yeah. No, I agree. No, it's a great race, but yeah, and again, because it's a finale, it has so much tension going with it. Nothing against Colin Turkington, but he's already had 3 championships by that point.
Well, he's now joint best championships in BTCC.
With who?
Andy Rouse.
Oh,
from the
yeah,
1980s.
I heard of that name. Yeah.
Should have heard of that name.
Yeah, I really should. But yeah, I never feel like Camish had it in the bag. Camish kind of not lucked himself into that position, but
He was the most consistent.
he admitted himself at the end that he was higher than he probably should have been at the end of the season.
There was only 2 laps he didn't complete in the whole
last-
season. That was the last 2
last
laps
2.
of the last race.
Yeah, and the sense of tension. When he actually like spun off the track, I screamed so loudly that people in my house downstairs heard me. Like, oh my god!
And it wasn't just a crash; it was the fastest part of the track as well.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it looked quite dangerous in itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, and good for Turkington as well. So
Yes,
that was your
it
number
is.
2.
That is my number 2. What's your number 2?
My number 2 was Hungary. Now, Hungary was an interesting one. Hungary was down just to racing skill by itself.
Yes, it was. It was a pure race.
It was a pure race, and for Hungary, which normally is quite boring, even though it's one of my favourite tracks, it was like, I don't know what it was, just the fact they had, you know when they say there's 15 laps to go, if he does it for 2 seconds lap, he'll catch him, and then it's 7 laps and they just stop and it gets really boring.
Mexico.
Yeah, that happened quite a lot this season. To see that not happen was actually quite nice, and
Yeah.
it's
There is
interesting.
the element of old versus young.
Oh, Verstappen, yeah.
Yeah, the new generation losing out to the older generation.
Yeah, I like how both drivers were like, this is the wrong strategy, I hate this, why
Yeah.
are we doing this? Yeah, no, that was one of those races, I imagine if you were there, it would have been a real sort of like, because you don't know what's going to happen, and obviously I kind of wanted Verstappen to win, but when Hamilton starts racing like that, you've got to appreciate that he's doing an amazing job. Your number 1 race,
My number 1. It's F1.
is it...
It's the British Grand Prix.
Oh, okay.
It was the purest race of the year. The best battles of the year. It was dry. No rain to get in the way.
Interesting. Well, that's really interesting because my number 1 is the British Grand Prix.
Boom.
The British Grand Prix has had one of those moments where I involuntarily jump up. The first time that ever happened in F1, when I was kind of getting into it, we went to watch the British Grand Prix in 2011. Massa and Hamilton going side by side.
Massa and Who's
Hamilton.
Hamilton.
They went side by side into the last corner, and I just went, oh my god! And that happens every now and then in races. It happened with Pierre Gasly drag racing Hamilton to the line. I jumped up on that one.
Yes, you did.
This one was Vettel cannonballing into the back of Verstappen.
Oh.
And that was just a moment.
And also, there is that instant is the argument for having quieter engine noises. Because what you did is you heard the crowd like a football match. You could hear them louder than the cars, and that was perfect.
I love just the overall sound of just sheer disappointment of
It's a mixture of disappointment for Verstappen and it's Vettel. He's done it again.
He's done it again. Like, not been a great year for Sebastian. We'll put it out there. But it was one of those ones.
That's an understatement.
But yeah, I was on edge the entire race, and it had one of those wonderful moments of, you know, when they do the sweeping shot through Luffield, going on to Cops, and there's so many battles going on at that point. I love
the Mercedes at the very beginning, Hamilton overtaking Bottas, then Bottas getting him back into Cops. And then you had Leclerc and Verstappen battling out, hitting each other off the track.
After Austria as well, the tensions were high.
That is how you race. That is hard, fair racing.
Consistently over the years we've been watching F1, I think the British Grand Prix has probably been the standout one normally. That in Brazil, I'd say.
It's more consistent than Brazil. Yeah. It's a big open flowing track. So
It's a big open track.
overtaking is
You know,
good.
sometimes it just inspires you to do some really silly things, Alex. You know, and the British Grand Prix in itself, I find,
I know what's
it's
going to
really
happen.
sort
here.
of like, you know, just really sort of, you know, iconic.
We get it. You've got a tattoo.
Yeah, this is only the first video I've shown it. Anyway, those have been our top. Actually, quickly, should we end with what our top moment is? When we think about this season in the future, what are we going to think of first?
Oh, you've jumped on me on that one.
Mine's going to be Pierre Gasly and Hamilton drag racing to the line. That was a beautiful moment, and honestly, completely subverted my expectations, which of course all people in 2019 like with Toro Rosso.
A Honda beating a Mercedes engine.
And also Gasly, who kind of got, I feel, a bit unfairly shafted. Granted, he didn't have a best season, but it was nice to see him somehow get a podium in a Toro Rosso.
Yes, it was good. He did deserve a podium. Probably the Italian Grand Prix on the basis that you've got one Ferrari doing everything everyone wants and one Ferrari doing things even Maldonado wouldn't do.
What, win?
No, drive out in front of other cars.
Yes, true. Yeah, I heard that on the radio. And who's the commentary? Who's the commentary for BTCC 5 Live?
It
Does
is
Formula E
Jack
as well.
Nicholls.
Yeah, and he's just going, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yes.
on that note, thank you very much for watching our video. Leave your comments below. What were your favourite races? What was your favourite moment? Hopefully, 2020, I predict, is going to be a pretty decent year.
Oh no, you said it.
Yeah, if it goes wrong, feel free to click on this video and say, "Chris, it's all your fault."
Yeah, it will be his fault.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Happy Christmas
Oh, nice.
and a Merry Christmas.